Good evening, it's Gene. If you never watched the last video I did, this one's going to leave you a little bit bewildered, but I think, even if you never watched it, you're still going to be blown away with what I'm going to present a little bit later on. Just a little bit of a background. I've been doing a bit of private research into some areas which baffle me. I'm very curious about them. I just wonder why things keep repeating themselves in the way they do. And I'm gonna go and talk about something I discovered quite a long time ago, and I know that there are going to be a few of you that already understand this, but we're talking about numbers, and the mathematical language of the universe is numbers. You've probably heard that described before. I'll just give you a brief reason why that is the case. It doesn't matter what symbols represent numbers. If you're going to have a numerical system, you're going to use a symbol that represents an amount. So if you hold up 5 fingers on your hands, you've got to have a numerical symbol for each finger so that you can relay what you're talking about to somebody else. Our numerical symbol ranges from 0 to 9. That's all the numbers we use, and we just reconfigure them in different ways to get larger amounts. For instance, once we get to 9, we have to use a 0 with a number 1 to get to 10, which is the next number, and then the 11, 2 number 1s, etc., etc. But it doesn't matter. If you look at Chinese figures for numbers, English figures for numbers, and even if we captured an alien from another world, his figures or symbols for numbers would be different to ours. But shortly after a few minutes, we would easily work out what that symbol represented in terms of numbers of objects. So my point is this: there's something universal about numbers regardless of what symbols are being used, and something is going to stand out to any species and any life forms anywhere in this universe. Shouldn't come to no surprise if you followed me on the universal equation. It's a binary code. It filters any number you put in there to a 9 or a 0. Why would you put any number in such an equation? Well, in this day and age, we've found a way of describing things by numbers. We've got mathematical equations to describe geometry, and we use geometry to build and fabricate a lot of things in our life. And when it comes really down to everything, you're going to find numbers in everything, like the Fibonacci, the golden ratio, etc., etc. My point is this: is that every species in this universe is going to recognize one thing about numbers, and that is when we get to the number 9, because something unique happens that doesn't happen with any other number. And you can see I've drew a few lines on here, but more importantly, we're interested in the first one down from the top, where the boundary of 5 times 9 crosses over that red line to 6 times 9. And I don't know whether you've already spotted it. The reason why I talk about this is because from 1 times 9 to 5 times 9, the numbers, as you can see, all add up to 9. But and they do so from 6 times 9 to 10 times 9. But if you look at what's happening past 5 times 9, and for instance, 40 equals 45. 5 times 9 is 45. And then we go over that red line boundary to 6 times 9 equals 54. The numbers which are above and below have just been simply reversed. It doesn't happen in any other number that we have. And you can see again it repeats itself. 7 times 9 is 63. If we go up to 4 times 9, it's 36. It's a repeat. It's just reversed. Again, 3 times 9 equals 27. Even though all these numbers that are the answers, like 1, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. If you add them up in the way we use the universal equation, you're going to come up with 1 and 8 is 9, 2 and 7 is 9, 3 and 6 is 9, 4 and 5 is 9, 5 and 4 is 9, 6 and 3 is 9, 7 and 2 is 9, 8 and 1 is 9, 9 and 0, add 0 is 9. I mean, we can carry on, but there's no need to, I think, past the point in 10, past the point when we get to 10. Because they do, in any case, add up to 9, because if you've got 11 times 9 is 99, 9 plus 9 is 18, 12 times 9 is 108, 1 plus 0 plus 8 is 9. So it's regardless how far we go down this road. The point is that, you know, number 9 is very special. If you watch the last video, you'll start to see where I'm going with this. It's a primer. It's a primer. I've not got all the answers, guys, I will say that, but there was something I said just briefly in the video that I did last, and it was a bit of a guess and a bit of a shock when I found it was fact, because I mean, to get such a number to equate to something so local to us was just unbelievable. What I said in the last video, and you can go back, is that the Earth travels 584 million miles around the sun in 1 year, and we cover on average around 1 degree of that 360 degrees that we travel around the sun every day. So 584 million divided by 360 gives us a number of 1.62 million miles an hour per day, 1.62 million miles per day. And I just speculated, not knowing completely. I knew I was around about the ballpark figure, that when I was talking about the fact that the moon had been positioned in such a way that it eclipsed the sun from only the perspective of the Earth, could we see a complete coverage of perfectly fitting over the sun. And this is something that we get with a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, where the moon covers the sun perfectly. The big point is here is that the gravity of the moon, would you believe it, is 1.62 meters per second. These same numbers keep coming back up for a reason. Not only does 1.62, if you add them up, 1 plus 6 is 7, add 2 is 9, bring us back to, the universal equation. But, it's a confirmation. That's why I say it must be a primer for some reason. And I haven't got all the answers, but I will say this, is that this universe is a very peculiar thing. When you really start to get to grips of understanding what's going on with it, it's very strange. And I can almost understand why some scientists recently have came out and described our experience that we're all participating in right now as some form of what's the word? Hologram. Not only does the universe show that it's using a binary system in its creation, it keeps using the same numbers. And the frightening thing here is with understanding that the fact it uses the same numbers is something that I'd recently discovered. When I said about 7 months ago I was going to look into the way and study the way that YouTube uses its algorithms, because I started to pick up on familiar patterns which I've not mentioned up until now. Let me just show you a couple of those. So one of the things, I've not just noticed this on my channel, I've also been on a lot of other people's channels just to confirm what I have spotted. But what we're looking at, and it's not because I mentioned 1111 in the previous video at all, what I noticed is that there were reoccurring coincidences or synchronicities, and what I'm talking about is the numbers of views that I've had. Now I've got 30,000 subscribers, but there's no way that there is going to be recorded 1.1 thousand views on more than an amount of videos. As you can see, I'll just show you. So we've got 2 straight away there, you know, again 1.1, 1.1 clustered together. If we carry on, there are other numbers, I will give it that, but you know, it uses the same numbers over again, like here 2.2, 2.2. You know, on a random note, these numbers should never come up as frequently as they do, and when they do, you know, you have to ask the question, what's going on? Well, it's because there's a computer program that's got limited ability to be random. What they should have done, I don't know why they didn't do that, it was incorporated some form of fuzzy logic to mix the numbers up and not make them so comparable as they are. Like I say, I've been on other people's YouTube channels and I've seen the same thing. There's also a lot of other things that YouTube don't realise that some of us users of their platform are aware of with regards to their algorithms, which are very predictable. I'm not going to mention them. I just, you know, there's no point. But my point is this, is that, you know, the universe is using the same numbers more than once, and you have to ask the question, why is that? Why is it using the same numbers? Like, why is it in one day, yeah, the Earth will travel in a 24-hour period 1.62 million miles per day? Why is it that our natural satellite has a gravitational force of 1.62 meters per second? Why does a lot of things all equate to the number 9? What the hell is going on? What sort of reality really are we living in? And are we, with the understanding of this, just beginning to pull back the veil on the reality of what everything is? If we're this close, and I think, you know, it probably isn't going to be much longer before we say exactly what all these dots are and how they link together and put it down as a fact. It for me is just way past a coincidence. There's something else happening here, guys, and we're getting closer and closer and closer. And you know, I just want to share what my findings are with you with regards to this. There's no way in any normal reality would the speed of our Earth travelling around the sun in one day equate to the same gravitational force of that moon. No way at all. It's impossible. It's impossible that our vantage point from the surface of our Earth watches the disk of the moon completely, perfectly cover the sun's disk. It's impossible. And there isn't another planet beyond our solar system so far that we've found that is within a travelable distance. Yet our Earth is able to give an abundance of life, and it is perfectly positioned away from the sun so that it's not gas and not solid ice. You know, it provides liquid water, that all important thing for life. These are not just something that fell into, you know, a lucky streak. Something put them there, something built this, and something is using a formula in order to do that. That's what I'm pointing out here. There's no doubt whichever. There is no doubt there is a formula being used, and the majority of us aren't aware of it. We're just passing it off as coincidence. We've got to stop. You know, the coincidences are mounting up now, so many that you can't deny it. There's no way I can throw 1,000 matches up into the air, and when they land, they perfectly spell out the first page of the Bible. No way. But that is exactly what these coincidences are. The same as in terms of possibility. You know, from time to time, you know, I come back onto this research, and you know, I think you know, it's not something you really should keep to yourself. You should share it. Whatever your opinion is of that, it doesn't matter to me. You know, what is the point in learning knowledge of something if you're not going to share it? Why would you do that? All I'm saying to you is the veil on the way things really work in this universe is starting to open up, guys. We're in a real special time right now. An exciting time. Because, you know what, I bet you, when we find out what is really behind that veil, we're going to say to ourselves, hey, why didn't we see that? Why didn't we see it? It was so obvious. Look at everything that was in our front of our eyes. Why didn't we see the wood through the forest? Guys, if you got something out of the video and you want to support the primary objective of our channel, which is the magnetic pole reversal and the maverickstar observatory, links down there. Be great if a few more people would support, because I think we're sharing more than anyone else. Simply, guys, look after your loved ones, take care. As always, bye for now.